Hey guys, it's Veronica and Jessica here. We just spent, I don't know, 6.5 hours, I think maybe 6 hours coloring Jessica's beautiful hair. Check that out. She's looking for a bit of a change for her haircut, so we're gonna give her bangs and we're gonna just trim up her hair.
So today's demo is gonna be all about how to do a layered haircut. I'm also gonna do longer bohemian type bangs, and I do want to keep my perimeter a little more solid, so stay tuned for the how-to.
All right.
Okay, so first she's gonna start with the bangs so that I can see, obviously. A lot of challenges that people have is sometimes we're not sure of how thick we want to have our bangs. So a good place to start is by checking the rock on the head, the rock where the head starts to lift. That's usually a good amount of bang to have. Obviously, you can always do a little thinner or a little thicker, but it's a great starting point.
So you'll know where the bang should sit based on what my sister is saying, the rock of the head, which means is once it starts to curve. So what I like to do, you can see it with your comb like this, right? So what I like to do is put the comb flat like that. I can see right there where it starts to lift off the head. That's where the bang, a good thickness for the bang is, right? So it's gonna be right about there. Okay, so that's where I'm going to. And this works because Jessica wants a thinner, more feathered kind of bohemian bang. So she's not looking for something that's super thick and bold. Okay, and then you want to go to, basically I'm doing a moon shape. Like that. And we're bringing the edges to the corners of her forehead here, because that's where her bangs will sit. You always let your client take a look at them to see if that's something that works for them.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be perfect.
Okay.
And now in terms of length, like a lot of my clients, when I'm talking to them about how long they should have their bangs, truthfully, there's maybe like a week to 2 week window of your bangs being perfect. And so typically people leave them a little bit too short or leave them, like they like them longer, but then it's almost too soon before they become too long. But the thing is, bangs are just high maintenance. You gotta know that. You're just gonna have to pop in for bang trims because you want to have that ideal length. Didn't she do such a good job on my color?
So, what length are we going for, Jessica?
I'm gonna say like long, like below the brow and like kind of like
A little bit
more curved.
Okay, curved around
shaggy,
the face.
yeah.
Okay.
Not super blunt, more textured.
So we see that her bangs actually have a split in it because that's how she was wearing her hair before. So what we're gonna do is that we want it to sit flat properly. So I'm gonna wet this down and blow dry her bangs how they should sit.
God damn, that color looks good.
So what we're gonna do, because she wants it a little bit longer around the edges, we're actually gonna be over directing the outsides right to the center. That naturally is gonna give it a little bit more length around the sides. Okay, so I'm pulling everything in towards the center here. I'm gonna cut this a little bit longer than what she wants, just so I have the bulk of the length off, and then I can shape it afterwards. I should have asked if you were ready, Jessica.
I was gonna let a little panic after out. Just kidding. Yeah. Oh yes, that's the kind of look I'm looking for.
And she wants this to look very shaggy, so we are gonna leave it quite a bit longer. Okay. So from here, all I'm gonna do, and you want
just
it
above the lashes.
And so this is very important on the sides here when you're cutting bangs, that you're not cutting into this side hair here, because this is hair that we still want long. This, like a lot of people accidentally cut into this part here and then your client is gonna have these short hairs on the side, which they do not like generally.
That, and then with really long hair, it ends up having a little hole right here.
Yeah, bangs are back, everyone.
Oh my god. I love my hair.
It's beautiful. You know what? Sometimes you do your client's hair and it looks so nice. You're just like, I want that.
I've been dying to do my hair for months. It's really tough with our schedules to be able to coordinate when we get to have our hair done. Veronica's gonna be doing a big color change too.
Coming up soon. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you how to do the rest of the cut. Doing a long layered cut actually is a very classic cut. You're gonna do it all the time, but actually it's a very hard cut. All right, so we're gonna go in and do the full haircut now. Obviously she has very long hair, so we're gonna be doing a layered cut for long hair. So we're gonna start on the perimeter here. I've already cleaned up her ends. So we've already cut off about 1.5 inches. So what we wanna do is we wanna add a little bit of texture to this. So what I have here is sectioned out O-bone. So you can see that there, okay? So this is the bone that's right here. What I like to do to give it a very natural textured look on the bottom is that I like to layer this area just slightly. So I pull the hair straight out from the head. We can see right here, there's a corner in the hair. That is all falling into one spot, making it a very blunt cut. So we just cut that little corner off. And I'm point cutting into the hair rather than cutting a straight line. I'm going in the same direction of the hair strand. What that's gonna do is it's just gonna break up the line so it's not one harsh line. That adds texture to the hair. See now, if you take a look at this on the bottom here, rather than it being a blunt cut, we have the softness there in the ends. Okay, so you're gonna see that movement in there. Now we're gonna move into the layers. Jessica, we're gonna be doing triangular layers, which gives her a little bit more length in the front. What do you want to say about that?
I just can't get over how nice my hair is.
Yeah, that's when you know you're in love.
Triangular layers, like she was saying, it brings a triangle shape, so kind of like this, a little bit more length in here, which 9 out of 10 females like it better because this is our prime real estate. We style it the most, it gets the most damage usually, and this is what we look at and see all the time. So if you can keep some of that length in here, your clients are gonna love it.
And generally in the back, in this area, this is where we like to see a lot of volume in body. That's why it's nice to have a little bit shorter of layers back there, and then longer ones coming through to the front. So we're gonna be starting right in the back, and remember now we've done everything under the O-bone. So what we need to do is that we're gonna match this top layer to where we had lined that up on our O-bone, okay? So we're gonna be giving Jessica about a 2-inch trim on her layers to get about that much off. So we're starting in the center here. We're grabbing the hair from right from the O-bone and we're pulling all the way up. You can see where we've cut this previous length there. So now we're gonna be joining the two. Again, we don't want to see any real corners in the hair because that is we're going to see that once it falls. Okay, so we're going to let that fall. Okay, beautiful. Now what we're doing in order to naturally create that length around the front is that we are going to, as we work towards the front sections, we are going to over direct the next section towards the previous. So what that's going to look like is that now we're moving towards this side. We're gonna pull this section to the same spot as the one that I just had cut. Okay, so I can see my previous section as a guide. So that's where I'm going to be cutting. Now how this half right here is falling very nicely. Now we're gonna work our way into the sides. And so this is where we are preserving the length. So we are gonna be over directing this rather than pulling it straight out this way from the head. We're actually gonna be pulling it back this way towards the back sections. And again, we're using the previously cut section as a guide as to how long we want to keep the hair and cut the hair.
A good tip to use when you're over directing your hair is stand beside where you want the hair to be and comb it towards you. That way you know you're always over directing it to the same spot.
So now we're gonna work on the other side now. I always like to cross-check the cut while I'm cutting to make sure that we are even. So Jessica doesn't actually have too much to cut off on the sides with doing this haircut. So we're just giving it a light little trim, making sure all the splits are off. And so now what I'm doing is I'm cross-checking between both sides of the head. The last thing that I'm gonna do is, because I basically had the bottom as one section and then the top as a second section, I'm going to just cross-check, make sure in between the two sections that there was not a corner in between the two. So I'm gonna pull it all out this direction. Okay, I can see that there is a little bit of a corner right there, and that's just where the two sections have met. So I'm going to take that out, which is right there. I'm just going to point it to that. Okay. And this just ensures that there's no heavy spots in the layers and that it sits very, very seamlessly and evenly all the way down the head. So you can see how flowy these layers all are. Okay, you can see the bottom, how nice and textured it is. All we have to do is put a little bit of layering in the front. Jessica likes the fullness. How do you want to see this, Jessica?
I like the shag going on. I think just like very shallowly kind of connect it a little bit, so that really you're just kind of cutting these like a little bit right in the front here.
Do you just want to connect that slightly to that, or do you want it just to start at the jaw? So this is, you know, based on personal preference, because she doesn't, if she wants to, some people like that complete shag where it goes from bang all the way down the side. Otherwise, some people like the fullness around the front, and they just want to see almost that clean, like, fringe look with the long, full kind of shape.
I'm gonna go with connect it all, but very, very shallowly. So it's just gonna be like a few hairs, like, yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna slightly connect this to her layering here. So it's gonna be very, very slight, just to soften it right around the face. Very lightly, just cutting. I am not sliding the hair at all, just because that can tear at the hair, especially with processed hair. So, and then I like to check in the front here, pull all the hair to the front and make sure that there's no stray hairs that don't belong or that need to be evened out again. All right, so the cut's all done now. Check it out. See how much movement she's getting in this hair? We have fullness still, but we have texture. So it doesn't look wispy at all, but we have that, we see those layers and the movement in the hair. Okay, so give your hair a shake again. Look at all of that movement, that's awesome. So this is gonna style really, really well for Jessica if she wants to wear it straight, if she wants to wear it curly.
I love it. Yay! Look at my new hair.
All done.
Woo!
New hair color and new cut. If you guys want to try this haircut, do it. Leave a comment. If you have questions about it, let us know. If you guys want a how-to guide on how to cut this, so basically we'll show you the sectioning step by step exactly what we did, all the little tips and tricks with it as well. Go to this website right here and we will send you one. Other than that, I guess that's this week's video, guys.
Subscribe to our channel. We do release new videos every Friday.
See you.